If you have a friend who struggles with women and you want to help him, but you don't know which video to send him first, this is the one you start with. This video lays the groundwork. It explains how attraction actually works and introduces the single core idea everything else depends on. By the end, you'll understand the real answer to the question most men get wrong: how to attract women without forcing it. Let's start with a concept I call the invisible magnet effect. Most men believe attraction comes from trying harder, saying the right words, performing better, proving value. But the reality is the opposite. The more effort you display, the less power you project. The moment you push, you signal weakness. And once you're pushing, you've already lost ground. Here's the truth most men never learn. The strongest magnet can't be seen. Think about the sun. It doesn't beg planets to orbit it. It simply exists, and everything moves around it naturally. That's how high-value men operate. They don't chase. They don't convince. Their presence alone creates pull. Women notice immediately. Why isn't he trying like everyone else? Why isn't he reaching? Why does he feel different? That curiosity turns into attraction. The invisible magnet effect is simple. The less you invest outwardly, the more she invests internally. When you don't bend, she feels compelled to lean. When you don't overgive, she senses an absence. And that absence becomes the space her mind fills. This works because most women are surrounded by men who leak neediness. Men who reply instantly. Men who laugh too much. Men who stare too long. Men who throw attention around with no filter. And attention that's given freely has no value. But when attention feels selective, earned rather than handed out, it becomes powerful. That's when she starts thinking about you later. That's when she replays your words, not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't say. The invisible magnet isn't about doing more. It's about doing less with precision. Your silence carries more weight than another man's praise. Your calm detachment feels stronger than another man's fixation. And here's the most important part. Once she feels that pull, she can't explain it. She just knows she feels something. When a woman can't logically explain her attraction, she follows it more intensely. That's why men who don't try often outperform men who exhaust themselves proving worth. Because real power is quiet. And power never chases, it attracts. Before we move into application, how to actually deal with women in real situations, there's a second principle you need to understand. Cognitive dissonance attraction. The human mind hates contradictions. Holding two opposing ideas at once creates tension. That tension demands resolution. And that unresolved tension is emotional fuel. Here's where attraction deepens. Women become hooked when you introduce subtle contradictions in how they perceive you. Not extreme inconsistencies that make you look unstable, but small fractures that prevent her from fully labeling you. For example, you give approval, smiling, listening closely, leaning in. Then, just as she relaxes, you introduce a light challenge. You're easy to talk to, not sure you'd survive a full weekend with me though. Approval mixed with doubt. Her brain stalls. She can't categorize you anymore. Or consider presence versus withdrawal. You're fully engaged while she's speaking. Eye contact, attention, focus. Then mid-conversation, you lean back, glance around the room briefly, almost as if she momentarily lost you. That tiny pullback creates unease. She feels both desired and dismissed at the same time. That clash, that's dissonance. And unresolved dissonance keeps her mentally invested. Her thoughts loop. Does he like me? Am I winning or losing? Am I enough or almost enough? Every attempt to resolve it creates more emotional investment. This is why contradictions outperform compliments. A compliment closes the loop. It delivers certainty. But contradictions keep the loop open, and the brain hates open loops. So cognitive dissonance attraction is about intentional contrast. Warmth followed by coolness. Approval paired with challenge. Engagement mixed with space. Each contrast plants a question she can't answer. And the longer it remains unanswered, the deeper she steps into your frame. Now that you understand these two foundations, let's talk about execution. How this looks in real interactions. How attraction happens without effort. Most men try to control outcomes directly. Text me later. We should hang out. You'll like me. The moment intent becomes obvious, the spell collapses. Women resist direct commands because they see them coming. Instead, you want to slip influence into normal conversation so it bypasses her conscious resistance and lands directly in her subconscious, where decisions are actually made. Here's how. Instead of saying, "You should want to see me again," you say, "It's funny how energy like this usually makes people imagine seeing each other again before the night's even over." You didn't instruct. You described a pattern. Her brain applies it automatically. Instead of "text me later," you say, "Most people after conversations like this can't help wanting to text later." Same structure. You frame it as a natural response, not a request. The desired action sits quietly inside the sentence. Examples you can use immediately. It's interesting how feeling this comfortable tends to linger afterward. Good chemistry always makes people imagine what next time would be like. When someone laughs like that, others usually want to hear it again. Each line contains a hidden directive. Think about me, see me again, want more. But because it's wrapped in casual language, it feels like her own thought. That's the power of embedded influence. No chasing, no convincing, just conversation that quietly links you with curiosity and desire. You never tell her why she likes you. You let her tell herself. People don't fall for your logic. They fall for their own explanations. Now watch how this locks in. Her friends leave. She stays. You don't rush. You glance toward the exit, then back at her. Interesting, you're still here. What made you decide to stay? Her mind scrambles. I don't know. I just like talking to you. That moment matters. She didn't agree with you. She agreed with herself. And people defend their own conclusions fiercely. You keep offering exits. You can catch up with them if you want. I'm grabbing water. If she stays, you lightly reflect it. Look at you choosing to stay. No pressure, just observation. When she explains, "I wanted to," that reason becomes part of her identity. Desire attached to identity is stronger than any compliment. Attraction grows when you highlight what she's already doing and make it meaningful. She leans in. You don't usually lean like that unless you're curious. She texts first. You must have been thinking about something. She laughs longer than expected. That laugh says you're enjoying this more than planned. Each statement frames her behavior. She fills in the reason. Each reason becomes another brick in her internal story. Why does this work? Commitment and consistency. Once someone verbalizes a reason, they subconsciously act to stay aligned with it. If she says she feels calm around you, she'll seek proof of that calm. If she says she feels safe, her brain filters reality to support it. Timing is everything. You don't ask for big declarations. You catch micro commitments in real time. She asks something personal. Interesting, people only ask me that when they're invested. She mirrors your posture. Careful. That's how people end up liking me without planning to. Delivered lightly. Then you move on. No selling. No pushing. Let her mind chase the echo. Never tell her what she feels. Invite her to name it. Direct statements create resistance. Framed observations create ownership. Instead of "you're into me," say, "Something made you relax around me faster than usual." What do you think it was? She chooses the label. And because she chose it, she believes it. The structure is simple. Offer choice. Highlight choice. Let her explain choice. You stay hands-off. Always leave the door open. Attraction grows when she keeps walking back in, and then has to justify why. One rule: never apply pressure. Pressure erases her narrative. Freedom writes it. When she feels free and still chooses you, her explanation becomes the feeling she can't shake. Now let me condense everything into a practical flow. Walk calmly. No flexing. No attention-seeking. Hold eye contact briefly, then release it. Curiosity forms. When she speaks, listen fully. Then add a light tease. Easy to talk to, not sure you'd survive a weekend with me. Warmth plus challenge. Don't sell plans, plan ideas. Energy like this usually makes people imagine hanging out again. Give freedom. If you want to catch your friends, go. I'm grabbing water. If she stays, look at you choosing to stay. Leave before momentum dies. I'm heading out. Let's pick this up later. No dragging. Let tension breathe. Text with intention. Short. Clear. On your timing. Warmth followed by space. She leans in. She suggests plans. Roles reverse. She starts telling herself stories. I like his calm. I feel good around him. I want to see where this goes. Every explanation tightens the bond. Stay grounded. No over-explaining. No grand promises. Strong posture. Focused attention. Clear boundaries. Mystery comes from restraint. Share enough. Leave edges undefined. Here's how it all connects. Your calm creates curiosity. Your contrast creates tension. Your words bypass resistance. Her choices build her story. Your timing signals value. You don't force anything. You create space. She chooses. She explains. And because it came from her, it sticks. Stay sharp. This is Stickman Influence. See you in the next video.